the Lone Star Land, with boots on my feet and dreams in my hand. A little sassy but a whole lot of grace. You'll see that fire when you look at my face. I'm a Texas girl with a heart so wide, family and friends always by my side. From the crack of dawn to the stars at night, I keep it real, keep my soul burning bright. Barbecue smoke, Friday night lights, cheering for the Astros under Texas skies. A little bit stubborn, a whole lot of charm. This big old heart will keep you warm. I'm a Texas girl with a heart so wide, family and friends always by my side. From the crack of dawn to the stars at night, I keep it real, keep my soul burning bright. Barbecue smoke, Friday night lights, cheering for the Astros under Texas skies. A little bit stubborn, a whole lot of charm. This big old heart will keep you warm. I'm a Texas girl with a heart so wide, family and friends always by my side. From the crack of dawn to the stars at night, I keep it real, keep my soul burning bright. From the blue bonnet fields to the city streets, every step I take feels like home to me. With a little sass and a lot of pride, this Texas girl's got nothing to hide. I'm a Texas girl with a heart so wide, family and friends always by my side. From the crack of dawn to the stars at night, I keep it real, keep my soul burning bright.
Hello, everybody. How are y'all doing? Hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody's having a good day. Hope all is well out there in this wonderful world. Hang tight, guys. I'm going to try to make sure. Okay. Trying to make sure my audio was set correctly. Thanks for being here with me. I appreciate y'all so much. Hello, Miss Rhonda. Hello, DJ. I'm out. So good to see you, my friend. Hey, Kai. How you doing? Let's see. Daniel again. Hello, tap dancer Lizzie. So good to have you. Hi, Miss Kathy. Hello, Jacob. Let's see who else we got here with us. Hi, Dan. How you doing? Lisa King. Hello to you. Hello, Peggy. Good to have you. Victoria. Hello to you. Let's see. Jacqueline. Hello. Cool gamer. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Hope all is well your way. Teresa, hello to you. All righty. I think we got everybody. Got us a small group of people here, but we're gonna do all the things here. Hey TJ. Hey Keely, how you doing? And Daisy. Hope everybody's doing well. Sorry about my thumbnail. Didn't have time to do much with it. I realized I hadn't even set up anything, so I just threw something together real quick. But of course, we're going to talk some true crime stuff today, as always. And then I just realized when I was playing my intro stuff was playing, I realized, oh, I didn't set it up for vertical this time. We are just on the horizontal. So, anyways, hope everybody can find us. Oh, goodness. But I hope everybody is staying warm. We are a little too warm here in East Texas. Currently, we are at 81 degrees. Is that not insane? Yesterday, we were in the 60s. Day before that was 70s. Today, right now, it's 81 degrees. Craziness. The craziest part of all is tonight's going to be down in the 30s. And that's why people in Texas stay sick. We never get over it. Hey, Narita, good to see you. So, yeah, it is. It's freaking hot. Yeah. Hi, Brian. Oh, it's minus 31 there. I'm telling you, it's crazy here. Miss Rhonda's wind chill is -3. Oh, I'm not joking. I went from wearing my pajama pants. I had like a pair of flannel pajama pants and a tank top on. And I was like, I got to get out of these pants. I got shorts on, wore my sandals to walk out to my car. I was like, man, I should be laying out and get some sun today. Welcome to Texas, because that's how the weather is. You never know. You'd rather sweat than freeze your ass off. Oh, I tell you. 10 in Michigan. Oh, man, y'all are getting snow tonight. Temperatures are going down. Oh, my gosh. And here we are. I mean, I got fans running up here, seriously thinking about turning on this AC and getting some cold air blowing through here. How crazy is that? This time last week, we were freezing our butts off. And here we are, 80-degree weather in February. You got your AC on, TJ? I tell you, it's crazy. It's crazy, crazy. It gets cool enough at night that this room up here will stay cool. And it would take a whole lot of sun to really make it hot. So it's still pretty decent with the fan going, but oh, I don't know if that sun stays up much longer. Y'all get the cold air blowing off the ice. Golly. I couldn't imagine. Could not imagine. This is the kind of stuff we're used to here. I never forget one year it was Christmas and all my kids had gone to their other families, their in-laws' house and stuff. And my youngest was down south, so I was going down there, spending the day with him. And I was traveling. I wore shorts, wore a short sleeve t-shirt, and had my sandals on because it was 98 degrees that day on Christmas Day. It was crazy. Crazy, crazy. Some pictures we have of us taking our tree in the house. The kiddos have shorts on. Some they have long pants. Some they have on coats. It just, you never know. Rhonda said, I have a prayer request. Someone is not expected to make it through the night at hospice, known since he was a kid, friend of my boys. Oh my goodness, Miss Rhonda. Please keep Miss Rhonda's friend in your prayer. God knows who. Ask for comfort, for peace for those loved ones and friends. Thank you, guys. Yeah, so sorry I was late coming on. My cousin had called. We have a somewhat family reunion in a couple of weeks down south, and one of our cousins and his wife and kids are coming in from Minnesota. We only get to see them every other year. So we were just debating, are we going to go, not go? She's about as broke as I am. And when you got to pay for gas, get hotel rooms, I don't think we're going to make it this year. We were laughing at each other because we're just pathetic. But, anyways, we'll see. We got a little bit of time before we make that decision. That's right, Keely. God will take care of him. Yes. Yep. But we're going to pray. At that point, all you can do is just pray for the families, the friends, because it's harder on, I believe, those left behind. Oh, no. Ryan says, I feel that with prayer for my boss's daughter for fighting stage 4 stomach cancer that spread to her brain and been fighting 2 weeks, as the doctor said she only has 2 weeks to live. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Lots of prayers are needed. That's all you can do is pray. There's just a point where I went through that with my mother. She had cancer. She had breast cancer. It spread to her lymph node on the side of her neck there, and then it spread to the base of her brain. And there got to be a time where my prayers started going to, she's needs to be with the Lord. She needs to go on to heaven and leave the pain behind. And I just started praying for God to prepare me and to go ahead when he's ready, lift her on up into heaven with him, because that's all we can do at that point. There gets to be that time. Oh, look at here. TJ said, my brother has stage 4 colon cancer. Doctor told him he had 6 months to live. That was 7 years ago because he keeps fighting. There you go. He must be as stubborn as you are, TJ. Today is 5-year mark since my nephew's OD'd. Oh, goodness, Jacqueline. It's a hard time. It's a hard time. Prayers for you. Yeah, Ryan, it's never easy. He's more stubborn. Hello, my beautiful Jen. How are you doing? Oh, I love you, my friend. I've been thinking about you a lot these days. Guys, we just found out, both of us just realized that our kids that we have lost, their anniversary date is only one day apart. Our birthdays, mine and Jen's, is only 2 days apart. We were soul sisters and didn't even know it. God brought us together for a reason, that's for sure. You take care of yourself, girl, okay? So, yeah, moms need to hear it's okay. Mom needs to hear that. My aunt, and I believe that 100% with my whole entire heart. My mom, she passed. My aunt and my grandmother kind of filled that gap for me. And when my grandmother was just on the verge, my aunt called me and I went up there. She said, I don't know, she's holding on for something. And I honestly believe to this day that she was waiting for me to be there, because I went in, sat down beside her, reached for her hand, held her hand, and told her it's okay. We're going to be okay, because she had taught us everything that we needed to know. Her job was done. And then my mama was waiting for her. And she took her last breath at that moment. My aunt held on for a good while, and then her youngest son finally pulled herself together. He came up there, said his goodbyes to his mom, and when he walked out the door, she passed away. Um, Daisy, I've been looking and looking and looking, and today I want to cover that and talk about it. I'm a mommy's day baby. Oh, how cool, tap dancer Lizzie. Yeah, Dan. Grief and losing people is a way of life. It's something every single one of us, no matter whether we agree with each other or not, it's going to happen. It's going to affect our lives. It's just what it is. Michelle, hello, hello. Life happens. It just does. Unfortunately, those of us left behind are the ones that hurt the most. Oh my goodness. Miss Kathy's baby boy turned 40 today. Oh, you're good, Jen. You just take care of you, girl. I'm just glad to know you're listening here with us. Guys, we've been talking a lot, about Sebastian and everything. And today I thought let's look into this Miss Guthrie that is missing. Her daughter is Savannah Guthrie, who is the co-host of the Today Show. She was supposed to be um, co-hosting with the Olympics. And so that trip has ended because her mother has disappeared. It's very strange. I know they have found DNA from the blood that was right outside her door, and it was confirmed to be her mother's. It's a very strange story, and one that's got everybody really baffled, because the the fact that the mom just completely disappeared after she had been dropped off at home. They start looking for her, and then they get this request for ransom for Bitcoin stuff. They arrested that person, and end up he has nothing to do with it. He just thought he would get some money out of it. I mean, how crazy are people? There are some really sick, twisted people in this world. Crazy, crazy people. And I am going to, if I can get this to work here. I'm sorry, I'm behind on everything today. Um, oh, our corgi had 5 babies this morning, by the way. I forgot to tell y'all that. So we have 5 little tiny nursing pups. Like we needed some extras. We have no clue who the father is. Every time she would go outside, we watched her really close because we knew she was in heat. And we have no idea. She come around the corner one day and I was like, holy smoke, she's going to have puppies. And my daughter-in-law was like, no way. And she looked down, she goes, oh my gosh. Her belly was big and everything. I was like, oh my gosh. So we have no clue. There's no other corgi around, but there, there are 5 puppies. So who knows? Who knows? Who knows? They're awful cute. My daughter-in-law left me a message this morning before she headed out and said, she's had 4. I think she's done. She said, I waited for about an hour and I'm going to head on to work. And I said, okay, I'll go down there. So I went downstairs. And her 4 little babies were just happy and content. I sat down there with them for just a little bit. I come on back up here. I went back down about 11:30 because I was probably about 8 o'clock when I went down. About 11 o'clock, I went down and I was like, what? Wait, what? And I started counting and I counted again and I counted 3 times just to make sure I was counting because there was an extra. She had had another one after I had left her. So, yeah. And no, TJ, not the same daddy. We had that daddy fixed. He's fixed. As a matter of fact, we knew it worked because him and my girl kind of got together and she did not come up pregnant, thank goodness. So we're not sure how or what or when or and the little boy dogs that live next door, they've been fixed. All the boys have been fixed around here. So there had to have been a stray dog somewhere. Had to have been. It's crazy. But we got a mixed breed down there, that's for sure. But they are so sweet. So very tiny and so sweet. I picked one of them up and it just snuggled up. I know, right? Who knows? Who knows? There was like a dark, like deeper than a chocolate colored. It was dark brown. The other one was a beautiful, beautiful suede brown color on the dark side. One is brown and white. The other is a light brown. I don't know. There are all kinds of colors. I don't know. Last time the red heeler that mixed with her, he was the same color as she had, on her. So all the puppies came out their color. But now we got a mixture. Not quite sure what we're going to have, but it's exciting when you got new puppies. I know, Daisy, I kind of want to. I wanted to keep little Emmy last time. We had her and she got her little home. She is doing so good and super spoiled. She goes every other week to the groomer just to get a bath and a massage. So she went to have a very pampered life. She has her food cooked for her, all the good things. She is doing well. Well, so we're talking here, about the Guthrie case. And I'm going to share this. This is Ashleigh Banfield, Drop Dead Serious. We're going to play the first time she covered this case and listen to it. And guys, there's something not quite right about this. And just before we do that, let me pull this up because I'm going to share with you here. This is the timeline we're looking at. January 31st, which was Saturday, she traveled to her family's home, which was local. 9:48, the family drops her off at her home. Her garage door opens. She gets out of the car, goes into her garage. Her garage door closes. At 1:47 a.m., her doorbell camera is disconnected. 2:12, software detects a person on camera. She had no video available because she had no subscriptions. At 2:28 a.m., her pacemaker app shows disconnected from her phone. At 11:56 a.m., her family checks on her. 12:03 p.m., 911 call to PCSD. At 12:15, police arrive. She had the cameras. She could see it happening in real time on her phone. However, she did not have a subscription, so the police could not go back, pull the card, and watch the video to see who was caught on camera. Unfortunately, lesson learned for all of us. If you're going to have a camera, make sure you have subscription just in case. Outside of her home, let me show you this part. This is out her front door. You can see the blood droplets and smears there. There's also the grassy type material. Let's see if this one will get a little zoomed in better here. No, but you can tell right by the ledge to step up into the door, there's some type of grassy type material there that's not on the tiles around it. But that blood was tested and it was confirmed to be from Mrs. Guthrie. All right, guys, let me put our banner. We're going to go ahead and watch this. We're going to use fair use for this so that we can learn all the things. Something doesn't seem to be quite right with this story. Just not sure who would want to come into an elderly woman's home. Yes, Dan, that sheriff is trying. And I will say this. If you stop and think about it, if there is blood droplets outside that home, surely there was something inside that home as well. But they have not confirmed anything. They've not given a whole lot of information out. They did get the brother-in-law's, her son-in-law's, her daughter's husband's vehicle. They seized it. They combed through it. They went through it, called him in. Reasonings, I'm not sure. We're going to learn all these things together. Here we go. We're going to watch Ashleigh Banfield Drop Dead Serious. And this is the first one that she goes over for this case. And there's been 7 ransom notes turned in. This poor thing.
Hey everyone, I'm Ashleigh Banfield and this is Drop Dead Serious, and I'm coming to you from Vermont again. Welcome to my home. I have a very personal true crime story to bring to you because it has come very close to my life. Savannah Guthrie's mom is missing, and Savannah and I have been colleagues for years, going back 20 years. We're friends. And when I heard the news, I was floored. And I thought, what first can I do to help? And second, how is this going to be solved? And who is working on it? And they are throwing everything at this crime. And I say crime because that is what it is. It is not a missing person anymore alone. It is a criminal investigation involving a crime scene at Nancy Guthrie's home in Arizona. Let me get you up to speed a little bit on the stuff you're about to find out. I have had a very, very long and in-depth conversation with Sheriff Chris Nanos of Pima County in Arizona. And he was extraordinarily forthcoming with information. I am going to talk to you in depth about our investigative information and interview. And there is information about DNA. There is information about signs of entry. I have information for you about ransom. I have information. I asked him about footprints and tire tracks. I have information about the scene itself. Was the concern inside or outside the house? I've got new answers on that. Basically, I have a lot of information that I didn't hear earlier in the news conference. So I'm going to bring all of that to you, but I want to take you to the beginning. I want to start from the very beginning in how the story broke, what happened, and how Savannah and her family even discovered that their mom, Nancy Guthrie, was not at home and that it was no accidental disappearance. So you would know by now, obviously, that Savannah has been for over a decade the host of the Today Show. And I should just let you know that this was really, really hard on her colleagues at the Today Show. Craig and Chanel opened the Today Show today without her, and they told the audience exactly why Savannah was not on the set. Here's how they began the day. Take a look.
Right to what is a deeply personal story for us. Nancy Guthrie, Savannah's beloved mother, has been reported missing in Arizona.
Nancy, who is 84, was last seen Saturday night and reported missing on Sunday by family members.
Savannah saying in a statement, on behalf of our family, I want to thank everyone for the thoughts, prayers, and messages of support. Right now, our focus remains on the safe return of our dear mom. We thank law enforcement for their hard work on this case and encourage anyone with information to contact the Pima County Sheriff's Department at 520-351-4900.
So Savannah's mom, Nancy, is 84, okay?
This is an 84-year-old woman who lives at her house by herself, had just had family time. She was dropped off. Probably was already in bed, I would assume, when the camera was disconnected. They say there was a recording of a person, but they didn't have it. It just showed there was a person. My daughter-in-law, the camera at one of our doors, the subscription is very laggy at times where it records and sometimes it doesn't. She knows when it's not because she'll get a notification that it will say white dog or male approaching home kind of thing. And then the subscription will kick back in. And I'm wondering if that's not exactly what happened here, that there was a notification of a person approaching.
And she was reported missing on February 1st from her home in the Catalina foothills, and that's just north of Tucson, Arizona. You should know that the call came in mid-morning on that Sunday, okay, Feb 1. And it has been around the clock since then. Family members said that they were first alerted that something was wrong when somebody from Nancy's church reached out and said that she wasn't at church Sunday morning. But what's important is that the sheriff told me that the family members, there was a member of the family who had dropped her off the night before. I think the time was around 9:45. So the last known sighting for Nancy Guthrie was when the family member dropped her off on Saturday night. That would be the last day, 31st of January, at around 9:45 at night. And she might have been getting ready for bed and, maybe taking medicine. She takes medicine every single day, critical medicine. This is important. You're going to find out about this. Critical medicine that she cannot be without for 24 hours. And we are beyond the 24-hour mark. So there's a grave concern for her health and safety right now. So as soon as the family members heard from this church member that Nancy hadn't shown up for church, they went to the house. And whatever they saw, they realized something isn't right. And I'm going to tell you all the signs that they saw, that we know about, that when the police saw that, they knew right away there was a big problem. But the family members called 911 right away and said, we think our mom is missing. And so the police arrived en masse. And at first they thought, with this early information, that this might be an elderly woman, 84 years old, maybe wandered off, maybe signs of dementia, that kind of thing. No. Nancy Guthrie does not have any dementia. She is, as they say, sharp as a tack. So this was not a wandering situation with an older woman. This was something different. And so a massive search followed right away. There were ground crews, K9 teams, drones, aircraft. Get this, more than 100 sheriff's department vehicles and law enforcement vehicles surrounded Nancy's home and began the investigation. Homicide teams came right away, even though they thought this could be a missing person, right? An accidental or a forgetful or something. Homicide teams were in that house right away. And that was the indication there's something more here. All right. So
kind of makes you wish that, Sebastian's case would have been handled the same way, because a barefooted autistic young man, no jacket, no shoes, no nothing. That should have been a huge alarm, especially when there was no panic from the mother.
Began as the missing persons case. That has now escalated into something way more serious, because now the search and rescue operation has been stopped, and it has been stopped, they say, permanently, unless and until there is a reason or an indication that they need to reignite it. That worries me. And you're going to find out why, because clearly the word that comes to mind is kidnapping. And so I asked the sheriff, do you have a kidnapping on your hands? And he was very blunt with me. You're going to hear that in just a moment. What he said was the indications at the home were so suspicious and unusual and unsettling that all indications early on made them believe that it was a criminal investigation. And as the day wore on, it 100% became a crime scene and a criminal investigation. So the Pima County Sheriff, Chris Nanos, confirmed that investigators say Nancy Guthrie's disappearance is a crime. And after processing the home, the sheriff actually said that there were things that not even seasoned detectives, but all the detectives realized right away. And I know what you're thinking, maybe she was picked up for an event with somebody else and just didn't take her cell phone or forgot to tell the family members. It's nothing like that. It's nothing. Family wants to be really clear about something right away up front. They say that she was of sound mind, fully competent in that way. The only thing that Nancy Guthrie has is physical ailments, just, mobility issues, the stuff that comes with age when you're 84. She took these daily medications, right? And it was very upsetting to hear Chris Nanos, the sheriff, say she has to take them every day. And in a 24-hour period without taking them, it can be lethal. Now, I don't know what kind of ailments she might have, but, diabetics, they can't be without daily medication. I mean, it can be really dangerous, right? And so what I can tell you is,
Now, I believe since this aired a couple of days ago, we've learned that she has some serious heart issues. One of the medications keeps her heart rhythm. And they said within 24 hours of no medication, her heart can go out of rhythm. She has the defibrillator. But the lack of this one particular type of medication is crucial.
that Sheriff Nanos made it abundantly clear that the investigators do not believe that Nancy Guthrie walked out of her house of her own volition. They said she was taken out of that house, forced out of that house. They say she can't walk more than 50 yards on her own. So that might take you to a driveway, right? Might take you to a long driveway. But after that, it's not like whoever takes her or forces her is going to be able to walk her a long way away to a waiting vehicle that was trying to, spirit themselves away from any cameras that might see them. Nancy Guthrie couldn't walk that far. So now this sort of opens the mystery up, right? If someone's forcing her out of the house, where are they forcing her to? Because if
And keep in mind, her home was very isolated. Lots of woods surrounding her house. You couldn't even see her neighbors from her home. So a neighbor's camera is not going to help at this point as to how she left her home.
she can only get, kind of to the driveway or just a little bit down the driveway, but barely much longer, there has to be a car in the vicinity, some kind of a vehicle. I asked the sheriff about this. You're going to hear from him and what he had to say. And actually, he was quite surprised at the line of questioning. So I've already said they don't believe that she left alone. But more troubling than that, the authorities have confirmed that her cell phone was at the home. There is a local report that says her purse, wallet, cell phone, vehicle, all found at the home. Sheriff confirmed.
Okay, so her phone was at the home. While ago, we saw on there, on the timeline itself, that at, let me see here, 2:28 a.m., her pacemaker app shows her phone was disconnected from it. So at 2:28, she was far enough away from her phone that her pacemaker was not registering and connecting to her phone.
Definitely the cell phone and her vehicle. He was going to look up just to double check on the purse and the wallet, but it sort of stands to reason, doesn't it? If you're leaving your home and you're leaving your cell phone and your medication. And I should tell you, the sheriff talked why they believe that she's without her medication. We'll talk about that in just a second. The detectives are now fanning out all throughout the neighborhood, going door to door, asking people, help us, give us anything you have. If you have knowledge, if you saw something, there was a vehicle you'd never seen before, didn't think much of it. No detail is too small. I always say that. No detail is too small. They're also asking for ring cam because always catches them, right? Surveillance footage. It always catches them. There are eyes everywhere. And let's just hope that in this particular neighborhood, seems a bit rural, but there's going to be some kind of surveillance, right? Even Teslas, they got cameras going at all times. If they have that setting, turned on, Teslas can actually operate as like a 360 camera. A bad guy can run by a Tesla and you can see it, right? So there could be things like that. And then of course the ring cams, that's what they're really looking for. They're asking everybody for their surveillance footage and they're already getting it in. And now it's just a matter of real-time eyeballs. And you know what that takes? It takes real time. One person on one camera going slowly so that you don't just miss a little figure. You can't just sort of half watch it or speed it up. It's one person looking at that in real time for the duration of the time that she's been missing. So 9:45 at night, you got to watch all those hours. You have no idea what the actual time of the disappearance is. So it is a very long and grueling process for law enforcement to go over cameras, especially multiple cameras, right? Cameras is a really interesting story at Nancy Guthrie's house because there are cameras in her house. And I asked the sheriff, inside or outside? You're going to get that answer and what they're doing with them right now. If there were cameras inside, I mean, that would have been the whole game, right? But they don't believe there's any cameras inside the house. They do say there are cameras outside the house and that they are reviewing, but it's not as easy, right? Just to like grab a camera and push play. There are all sorts of issues with that. And so the sheriff is going to go through with you what they have to go through in order to access whatever's on the cameras. But that could be a boon, right? Huge amount of evidence. So they're in the process of doing that, getting into it to get it reviewed. And when asked whether Savannah Guthrie herself is there, she is. She beelined it from New York, right? She was supposed to be on the air this morning, but she was down in her hometown at her mom's house by today and helping. Sheriff Nano said that she's been incredibly helpful, and so has the rest of the Guthrie family. So that's really lucky. And I actually spoke to the sheriff about how knowledgeable Savannah is because she was a lawyer and she does a lot of true crime. So she's going to be extraordinary in terms of being able to provide detectives with all the things that they need and the things they may not even know about Nancy that they need. I asked the sheriff if Savannah Guthrie or her security team has received any threats or requests for ransom. He will give you that answer in just a moment. He said investigators aren't dismissing any angles of the story. I should tell you this as well. This is a really big week for Savannah. She was scheduled to be in Italy on Friday for the opening ceremony of the Olympics. And if I could tell you, I did this once. I covered the Olympics for NBC. And I'll tell you the amount of research and planning and studying and logistics in order to get to day one of the Olympics is massive. So she is now going to be sitting that out. And that is very, very hard. This is a massive thing. It only comes every 4 years. And so she will not be doing this. She will not be doing the Olympics coverage, which is heartbreaking. And they'll have to get somebody in and up to speed real fast 4 days before it all starts. Instead, Savannah is living a nightmare with her siblings and her family, trying desperately to find out what has happened to her own mother. So earlier, I had this incredible conversation, as I said, with the Pima County Sheriff, Chris Nanos. And before I play that conversation, which has a lot of new information, including the DNA, I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. You know how much you mean to me. I can't do this without you. I also can't do this without my sponsors. So quick message about Cook Unity, because hundreds.
We're gonna skip through their commercial
because it's so good. But I love Thai. I love all sort of Far East cooking. But if you want some half price, I got you. Just go to the link in the description and try Cook Unity. 50% off your first order. You're welcome. Just click the link in the description below, or you can also use my code Ashleigh50. But don't forget, I'm ASHLEIGH, Ashleigh50. And then also tell me in the comments which one you like the best. And good luck. Back to the case. Here's my conversation now with Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos.
Thank goodness that she has this where we can hear from the sheriff some serious details about this case.
This has been really confounding and pretty grueling.
You know, it's never easy. These are tough cases, but I just have such confidence in my team that they time and time again have proven themselves. And I just know we're going to get this resolved.
Is there an area in Nancy Guthrie's house of particular interest where it was more clear that it was a crime than some other circumstance?
You know, I wouldn't. Again, I can't talk to specifics about what we have in that home, but there is definitely, in our eyes, on our belief, evidence that shows and suggests that she was removed from that home. and against her will. We continue to look at some data that we think is available. It's just taking some time to get downloads and that, whether it's digital imagery from a camera to tracking a cell phone. There's just a lot going on in technological sense of gathering that kind of evidence. So that's all taking place. I think I mentioned we're working with a lot of partners, not just in the law enforcement community, but in the private sector. Some of the big corporations, Apple, Google, whatever, they're all jumping in. So it's never fast enough, right? So that's our challenge.
There was a report that the front door was wide open. Is there any veracity to that report?
I don't know that that's accurate, because it could be. I know that when we got there, the family was already there, and they had already spent some time looking, as you would expect. Probably we got an hour delay there from them. Not anything intentional, just that, they went and looked and made some calls, and then they decided we better call 911. So,
was the homicide team able to ascertain any?
Take note, the family searched more than 1 to 3 minutes.
Unique footprints outside Nancy's home, or even inside?
I cannot give you that. I would tell you that it is our belief she did not leave that residence on foot.
Did not leave the residence, the actual home itself, on foot, did not walk over the threshold?
That is correct. We do not believe she left that home by herself on foot. That did not occur. And she has a vehicle. We have that vehicle. She is very capable of driving. Her physical limitation is really just her ability to move, to walk and those things. But she's certainly got a very, like I say, very sharp as a tack mind, is function. She's got her wits about her, and she can drive. So no.
But purse, cell phone, keys, wallet, and what else was left in the home that would very much indicate you don't leave without?
I don't know of all those items. I do know we've got her cell phone. The rest of those items, I really haven't heard that.
Interesting. I heard you say earlier, cell phone, that you were in possession of her cell phone. There was a local report from Tucson saying the purse, cell phone, and keys and vehicle were all at the home.
And that could be accurate, but I can't speak to that. I'd have to ask my team.
Okay. Is there any missing bedding from the home?
Again, I can't speak to that.
Okay. Was there any blood found in the home?
There's DNA evidence we believe that we have found that we are going to submit, has been submitted for rapid DNA testing. Once that breaks down to us, I think we had to get it up to Phoenix. Everybody's rapid DNA testing machine here locally, for whatever reason, was out of service. But that is being looked at. Once we get that, we will submit what we can to CODIS and whatever else, whatever other DNA companies we need. Those things will be rush orders. We use here from the Sheriff's Department, DL Labs, and they do us pretty good on rush orders that can get us usually 5 to 10 days.
Are you able to tell me where was the DNA found that would indicate that this was DNA that was valuable to you?
It's from the home is all I can tell you.
Door handles?
I cannot go there. Yeah.
And first door?
The reason being, Ms. Banfield, is simply this. I can tell everybody, we're not trying to be secretive. We understand everybody. There are certain things in that home that we know only the intruder knows about, and the things that occurred.
Fully respect that.
Yeah,
I have been to this rodeo many times, and I understand your limitations, and I respect them without question. I'll ask. Please feel free to tell me if you can.
Thank you. I just don't want to come across.
I won't hold it against you. I appreciate you. Cameras. I heard you say in your press conference there were cameras at the home, I believe, but I wanted to ask you if there are cameras inside the home and outside the home.
I know cameras outside. I don't know what was found inside pertaining cameras. I really just don't know that. But I do know they found some cameras outside that we're trying to get help from the companies and the makers of those cameras to see what else we can get out of them.
So you're looking to access them, but at this point, it's an access issue. You haven't been able to actually.
Yeah, correct.
Yep.
Cute shoes.
Yeah, I mean, they could be, they could be cloud-based. We're not finding that. It could also be just on a server somewhere. We would rather than ourselves go into it, let the companies that are experts in this to take their time and get us what we can.
And of course, Savannah and the family would probably be privy to passwords with an elderly relative. We all have elderly relatives.
Oh, sure. And the family is so cooperative. They're every time they want their mom back.
And Savannah, with a criminal justice background and a lawyer, is going to be extraordinarily helpful as a, as a teammate, more so than the average victim's family member might be.
Well, yeah, I don't know what an average victim family would be like, but I would tell you.
They don't think like you, but Savannah is brilliant.
Yeah, I've no doubt. No doubt.
We used to work together, and we're colleagues and we're friends, and so this is very personal to me as well as
I'm sorry.
My friend.
She's a good lady with a good heart, and we're not going to give up. We'll get to
that. License plate readers and other ring cameras and license plate readers in that vicinity. Have you been able to get them? Have you been able to look?
All of those things have been requested for preservation, have been sent to us. So we're in the process of doing all that.
Getting eyeballs on them, but nothing so far. No prowler in the neighborhood so far that you've been able to identify.
No, we've not identified any suspect. Now, remember, there are people out in that neighborhood right now, and they're doing some things. Maybe they've learned something that I'm not aware of yet, but so far I've not been briefed to anything like that.
In the Tepe murder in Columbus, Ohio, the police came up very quickly with a figure, a sort of a skulking figure walking through the back alley. And they now say that allegedly is Monique Tepe's ex-husband, and that he was the double murderer. So these images can be extraordinary.
There is no doubt. That's why I say we really want to be careful about any kind of person of interest until we get that digital download and can say, hey, this may be somebody we need to be looking at.
I also want to be very clear about the wording. I don't want to get this wrong. You mentioned she did not leave that home on foot. And I want to make sure that you're talking about she did not walk out that front door, even with someone, that somebody took her out that front door and past her driveway.
Right. So I'm not going to tell you what door they used or anything. We believe she was forced out of her home. Whether she walked out of her home or was carried out, that we don't know her will.
Okay, and thank you for the clarity. I do
family member that your mother was forced out of her home unwillingly.
Mrs. Guthrie, her limited mobility limits her to walking barely 50 yards, which would indicate that a car would have had to be close by in order to make some kind of egress. Did you find tire tracks?
You should have this badge on you. You think like us. Yes, that's exactly right. We agree. We think that, look, the family tells us she couldn't walk 50 yards. You just couldn't. And I think there's some frustration about, well, why are you continuing searching if you know she can't walk 50 yards? And it is because it is a process. We have to follow those processes, even if they don't make sense to some people, because what if we're wrong? What if we just missed something? We don't want to be there. We want to make sure we've done as thorough a job and the criminal investigative piece.
Any indication of tire tracks that weren't her vehicle?
No, we don't have any tire tracks, no.
Nothing to go on for tire tracks, because again, with her limited mobility, to get her any further away from the front of that house would have required some kind of a conveyance, a vehicle.
And of course, I think the driveway, it's not going to be conducive, that surface. It's almost like not even a gravel, but it is almost a paved surface, so it wouldn't be conducive to
No
tire.
mud, no
No.
unusual, you know how mud can be brought from another region
Sure.
area, and that's very helpful in the investigation, but nothing like that?
No, we're not seeing anything that suggests that.
And no snow, so no snow tracks.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Did she have a security system?
No, I don't believe so. We've not heard that. I don't believe she did.
I heard you make a mention, and it.
And you're talking about like an alarm.
Yeah, like an alarm system.
No, we've not heard anything like that.
Okay. I heard you mention. It just broke my heart. There were upwards of 100 security vehicles, law enforcement vehicles at this home. I mean, this is an all-out assault on finding.
Yeah, because it's unusual that, we get so many search and rescue missions. I trust our search and rescue teams, and they have probably close to 100 volunteers in that regard. But they get out and they do such a great job. But in this briefing I received yesterday in the middle of the day it was a briefing that alerted me something really not right here. And you've been doing this for 50 years. You get a gut instinct. I've had gut instincts before and been wrong too, so trust me. But I just felt like there's more here than just a regular search and rescue mission. Allow search and rescue to do what they do. They do it well. But at the same time, let's get our homicide team started and get them out there. That's kind of unusual for us. But I just felt like, no, this one, something doesn't fit.
Have you had any calls? Has Savannah and her security team had any calls? Because sometimes a disappearance like this, when there's a high-profile member of a family, will result in a ransom-like situation.
No, we first of all, the family's been great, as you know them, and Savannah and our team and myself have been in communication throughout this. It is devastating for them. They are definitely very concerned, rightfully so. But we talked with her security team and with a number of different law enforcement agencies from federal, state to local, and nobody's heard anything like that.
So that's also just expands the mystery.
Since this was recorded, there have been 7 ransom things sent in, and so far none of them have panned out to be anything legit. Just sick people in this world trying to take advantage of a family at the worst time of their entire lives.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I mean, maybe somebody will do that, but we've not heard that. In fact, I think the plea from Savannah and the family is, and it's my plea too, is, look, if you know where she's at, let her go. Just call us. We'll come and pick her up. Because there is a very big time element. What are we? 5 o'clock in the evening we're well beyond 24 hours. And from what we understand medically, if she doesn't have her medication, which we don't think she does, it can be fatal.
You saw her medication left at the house.
We believe from the family's report, she has no medicine available to her.
Is there, other than that, which is extraordinarily serious, is there anything that is an indication in that house that Mrs. Guthrie may still be alive or may not be alive?
We always want to hope, right? We don't want to lose that hope. My team, the Guthrie family, this community, we will continue to search and until something suggests otherwise. Certainly, we want to believe that she's alive and we'll find her safe and sound, return her.
They're going to make me want to go out and buy a pair of heels. Those are so stinking cute.
But I would be very neglectful as a law enforcement officer, as a law enforcement agency, to just dismiss things that we're seeing in front of us that indicate a crime. And so that's why we took 2 different avenues of approach on this.
And very quickly turned away from the search and rescue. I heard you say it's permanently suspended unless need be as you move forward. But I mean, you've been to this rodeo a long time, and You see a scene and you get a gut feeling. Did you have a gut feeling with this scene?
You know, I had a gut feeling about what was being told to me about what's being seen and done there. I was out there last night talking to the investigators. I think we all have some great concerns about what we're looking at. But we also know we have to be careful. I mean, we hope that, you know, it's happened before. The police, the sheriff is, this person's dead and this, that, and that. And then I say, you know, some hospital calls and says, hey, I think I've got this lady in my hospital room. So, you know, we're never going to give up hope. That's why you guys are so critical to us. Somebody out there sees something, says, maybe they'll see her. We've gotten calls like that. Hey, I think I saw her in Flagstaff. Hey, I think I saw her here. And so we'll chase those leads down.
Can you send more pictures to us of Mrs. Guthrie? I'm sure the family has supplied you with lots, right?
No, we really haven't. I think that is the most recent, what they just defined to us as this is her. This is, but you know, if you think that's going to help, I'm sure they'll accommodate us. Yeah. That
is the biggest thing. If we can get pictures of her out everywhere, and there are millions of eyeballs seeing that woman, that jogs memories, especially if they see a woman who's with someone who doesn't look like he should be with her. And I'm not saying it's a he.
No, I understand. You know, I'll talk to our team and see what they've done in that regard. But yeah, that's something that's not even really become an issue. I think the family felt comfortable that this one will identify her. So.
Okay, guys, we're going to stop there on that one. We're going to move over to this one with Law and Crime. Funny how Dan had a suggestion that he emailed me, and it's the exact one I had pulled up. So here we
go. Of Nancy Guthrie, the mom of today's show.
I don't know why.
Anchor Savannah Guthrie. The sheriff in Pima County, Arizona, is now saying that he believes Nancy was taken from her home against her will in the middle of the night. We'll talk about the new leads that investigators are following in the frantic
search.
Can
tell right there. Let me go back just a tad. And let's look at
Nancy was taken from her home against her will in the middle of the night. We'll talk about the new leads that investigate.
You see her house. It's very isolated to a point. She doesn't have neighbors right directly almost touching her house. So there's lots of greenery and stuff in between, which would make it hard for anyone to identify. In a home straight across, there's a road right there. So camera advantage wise, if you saw it on ground level, you would be very surprised at how closed in it feels with all the woods.
4-year-old woman. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. Hey guys, real quick before we start this episode of On the Case, I want to talk about our partner and sponsor, Morgan & Morgan, /OTC.
Kudos to
While talking about the case of Nancy Guthrie. The 84-year-old woman is still missing, and members of law enforcement are searching for answers as to who would take her from her home, reportedly in the middle of the night. The sheriff gave an update a short time ago where he talked about reports of what evidence they had taken from Nancy Guthrie's home.
What I'd tell you is, like any crime scene, we processed this crime scene. We gathered all the evidence we could, to include looking for what? Fingerprints, DNA, camera images, everything you can imagine. And we gathered that out. Those things have been submitted forward to labs, to technological companies to help us. And we're like you, we're waiting for those returns to come back.
The FBI also spoke at this news conference, and there was a minor part in their prepared statement that we picked up on.
In terms of what the FBI is doing, we are providing the following support. Primarily, it's analytical and technical support in the following ways. We're downloading and analyzing cell phones, obtaining cell tower information, conducting interviews, and providing any and all investigative support that the Sheriff's Department needs. We're looking at this from every angle, but we need your help.
Now, the minor part that we picked up on is that the FBI said they are analyzing cell phones, plural. It's unclear whose cell phones they're looking at. We do know that authorities have said they found Nancy Guthrie's phone at her house. Now, we do have information on some new evidence, reportedly, that law enforcement was able to take from the scene, and this evidence could be very critical in cracking this case. And we also have a new report that is shedding light on what authorities may have also found inside of Guthrie's home, and that includes blood. Now, before we get to that new information, I want to break down an updated timeline of what law enforcement believed happened. So, Nancy Guthrie, she lives alone inside this home in Tucson, Arizona. It's really on the outskirts of Tucson, north of the city. This picture from the AP, law enforcement, they have been parked outside ever since this story broke. Now, this is an aerial picture of that home.
Do you see what I'm talking about here with the trees, with the shrubbery, with the cactus, all the things? Her home kind of feels almost isolated in there. Her front door, which we see, and let me see if I can get my cursor right here, would be the front door entryway.
12 News in Arizona, just to give you an idea of what the property looks like. So deputies say that family members dropped Nancy Guthrie off at her home around 9:45 on Saturday night. Guthrie is a devout churchgoer. It is a key part of her routine. And when she didn't show up for church Sunday morning, people knew that something was wrong. And
because if my grandmother didn't show up for church, I would get a phone call. They would ask, is she okay? She didn't come to church today, because she was like Miss Guthrie here every Sunday night, every Wednesday night. My grandmother was in church. And with her not being there, something had to have been not right with her, and people would call me and check up on her. Thank goodness that happened for her.
Around noon on Sunday, that law enforcement received the first 911 call from Nancy's family. So deputies say when they searched her house, they realized that this was not a case of an elderly person. Wanda Guthrie is incredibly sharp mentally. And they have made it clear, law enforcement, that they believe that Nancy Guthrie was taken from her home.
We do believe that Nancy was taken from her home against her will, and that's where we're at.
So overnight, the sheriff expanded more on that. Sheriff Chris Nanos telling CBS News, quote, "I believe she was abducted. Yes, she didn't walk from there. She didn't go willingly." Before we continue on, I also want to keep putting this up on the screen. This is the number that you can call if you're watching this and you have information about what may have happened to Nancy Guthrie. It's the Pima County Sheriff's Department, and the number that you can call with a tip, 520-351-4900. The sheriff is now calling on the public for help. He's calling on neighbors to review surveillance footage that they may have, just to see if there is anything that could help them track down Nancy Guthrie and who may have taken her from her home. Now, getting surveillance video may be easier said than done. I want you to look at this map here, because this shows the layout of the neighborhood, and you can see there's a good amount of distance and brush between the homes, and several of the homes have long driveways. It's kind of secluded off of the road, so it's not a case where it might be a townhouse or a building in a city where you're able to grab something from a surveillance camera, a Ring doorbell camera of someone passing by. Obviously, it would be huge if someone has that type of information, but the sheriff has said that that could be challenging. He also talked about looking at license plate readers in hopes that that could help crack this case. Now, we do know from local media reports that Guthrie's home is not in a gated community, but again, this is a rural area. Fox News is reporting that Nancy Guthrie has a pacemaker that last synced to her Apple devices around 2 a.m. on Sunday. Her Apple Watch was found at the home, according to Fox News. It was still on the charger. And remember, authorities have said that they have her mobile phone. The local sheriff's office has not confirmed that detail involving the pacemaker. There's also a new critical development in this story. The sheriff says that they have possibly recovered DNA from the home of Nancy Guthrie. And the sheriff has said that they are hoping it's enough that could give them some sort of identification. That DNA has been sent to a lab in Phoenix, where it could take 2 days to be analyzed. That's according to
has been linked to
The
blood
anonymous
that was on
sources
the front
who say that
doorsteps.
blood was found inside of Nancy Guthrie's home. There were also reportedly signs of forced entry into their house. The Pima County Sheriff tells us that the DNA is that of Nancy Guthrie, but the sheriff wouldn't confirm that the DNA sample is blood. Fox News is also reporting that a source said one that might come from a bloody nose. Either way, that's certainly a scary development, as well as the fact that authorities say that this is truly a race against time, not just to find a woman who is allegedly taken from her home, but because Nancy Guthrie at 84 has very important medication that she needs to take to be able to survive.
This is a 84-year-old lady who suffers from some physical ailments, has some physical challenges, is in need of medication that if she doesn't have in 24 hours, it could be fatal. So we make a plea to anyone who knows anything about this, who has seen something, heard something, to contact us. Call 911. We don't need another bad tragic ending. We need some help.
Sadly, Miss Guthrie was taken on February 1st. We're now at February the 4th. And there's been no sign of her. She desperately needs her medication for her heart. I worry that without that medication, this could be a very sad ending, but I don't know, guys. Y'all keep her in your prayers.
Tough thing to point out, but we're obviously well beyond the 24 hours that Nancy Guthrie was taken from her home. We are entering the third day at the time of this recording in the search for her. As of Monday night, the sheriff told NBC that they don't have a solid lead yet into what happened to Guthrie or where she may be. And a key part of this story is that Nancy Guthrie, she was sharp mentally. Again, this is not a case of someone who is elderly, who may have struggled with some sort of mental issue and they wandered off from their home or got lost. According to the sheriff, the issue is that physically she has some limitations and said that she wouldn't be able to walk 50 yards by herself, which is another piece of the story that they say points to the fact that she was allegedly taken from her home. Now, it's unclear at this point who had access to Nancy Guthrie's home. We know that she lived by.
The access part is the part that I would like clarified, but as of yet, we haven't heard anything confirmed as to, was there a break-in? Was there signs of a break-in? It was reported that had happened, that someone had broken in, but it's never been confirmed. So at this point, we have no clue whether the person knew how to get inside the home or if they had to break inside the home.
By herself, but it's unclear if she had people who would come to her home to help her, perhaps people who did lawn work. Now, the fact that there were signs of forced entry may mean that responsible may not be someone who was regularly at her home. Now, Guthrie is the mom of one of the most recognizable people in TV news, Savannah Guthrie. And we are hearing from Savannah for the first time since this story broke, because she posted this on Instagram to her 1.2 million followers. And it is a graphic that she posted that says, "Please pray." And in the caption, she writes, quote, "We believe in prayer. We believe in voices raised in unison, in love, in hope. We believe in goodness. We believe in humanity. Above all, we believe in him. Thank you for lifting your prayers with ours for our beloved mom, our dearest Nancy, a woman of deep conviction, a good and faithful servant. Raise your prayers with us and believe with us that she will be lifted by them in this very moment. We need you. He will keep in perfect peace those whose hearts are steadfast, trusting in the Lord." A verse of Isaiah for all time, for all of us. Bring her home. Now, Savannah Guthrie, she's been the co-anchor of the Today Show since 2012. She grew up in Tucson, Arizona. She also went to college at the University of Arizona, which is in Tucson. Savannah has two siblings, a brother and a sister. Her dad died when she was a teenager of a heart attack. And she is incredibly close to her mom. She's spoken publicly about their bond. If you watch the Today Show, you might already know who Nancy Guthrie is even before this story, because she had come on the Today Show multiple times. Savannah posted this picture with her mom just after Christmas this year on Facebook. Then this is from 2020. This was her mom's 78th birthday. She posted on Instagram, quote, "Happy birthday to a mother like no other. My mom, Nancy, is my heart and my everything and my model for what a mother should be. Thank you, God, for her 78 beautiful years. Happy birthday, Mama." Now, Nancy Guthrie has made multiple appearances on the Today Show over the years, and in her most recent appearance on the show, she talked about moving to Tucson in the 1970s. She said that she decided to stay in the area to raise her family in Tucson because it has a laid-back and gentle quality of life. The Pima County Sheriff's Office says that the FBI and Border Patrol are also helping in the search for Nancy. They say that they have Nancy's cell phone. That could be really important. And they say they're analyzing that cell phone right now for clues. Tucson is located about an hour 15 minutes north of the Mexico border. The sheriff, during his news conference, was asked about a possible motive in this case. And we don't know what that motive is. Again, at this point, we don't know who took Nancy Guthrie from her home. It doesn't appear to be a robbery based on everything that we've heard. And we also haven't heard anything about a ransom or a demand. The sheriff was asked about whether it could be tied to maybe a potential threat related to Savannah Guthrie. I mean, she is this very recognizable news personality. This is what the sheriff said.
Has Savannah Guthrie, she had any threats to herself?
We've spoken to her. We'll continue to work with that. She has this. We're not going to dismiss any angles for sure, but right now, immediately, we don't know of anything like that.
The sheriff says
now, her daughter is a co-host on the Today Show. She was supposed to go and be there tonight for the opening of the Olympics. And she has chosen to stay home and wait for her mother to be found.
Incredibly cooperative in doing everything they can to try and help in the search for their mom. Savannah Guthrie, she was slated to host Olympic coverage from Italy, which starts on Friday, February 6th, but CNN is reporting that she will no longer be doing that as she is in Tucson as this search for her mom continues. This is the statement from the Guthrie family that they first put out in the wake of Nancy's abduction. It says, quote, "On behalf of our family, I want to thank everyone for the thoughts, prayers, and messages of support. Right now, our focus remains on the safe return of our dear mom. We thank law enforcement for their hard work on this case and encourage anyone with information to contact the Pima County Sheriff's Department at 520 351-4900. Join us now to talk more.
We're done. I'm all good with law and crime, but when they bring this man in, I'm over it. I'm done. We need no advice from him. Dunzo. Anyways, who's want to be sleuthing? Oh, happy birthday to him. How awesome. My goodness. I tell you, it's always a special day when your baby has a birthday. Always so special. Takes you back to the moment that you first saw your child. Oh no, you're not the only one. I love law and crime. I love how they put things out there, what they're showing, all this stuff. But when it comes to Stephen Fisher, I'm done. I'm good. We got what we needed. So anyways, some channels believe in him. Others, like us over here in our little corner of the YouTube world, I don't. He's done nothing but cause destruction for Sebastian's case, put out false information, tried to make things into something it's not, just for distraction. I have nothing for that man. If I ever saw him in life, I would probably turn around and turn my back to him. I don't even think I need to be introduced or anything. I will live my life just fine without having any contact with a person who can do that. Oh my gosh, SF is the green hoodie. Well, guys, speaking of which, hold tight. Hold on. I got something that'll make your day. Let me see if I can find these real quick. Because he does like to dress up. He really, really does. Let's see here. Let me see if I can find them. I hope I still have them on here on my laptop. Let me see here. Where would they be? Good golly, I know I've got them here somewhere. Just got to go through all these. I should have had them ready knowing that he was going to pop up. But let me see if I can't find them because y'all would crack up. I have a picture of him as himself, as an old man, and as a woman. You heard me. A woman. Could not believe it when I got those pictures. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. Oh, my geez. And conveniently, when Hong put out the video of the old man that was walking around that home, his home, it really did look like the old man Stephen Fisher made himself out to be. I was very surprised when I saw that. Let's see here. I might have taken them off. I had to unload a lot of pictures and put them on some zip drive to free up some space because my computer is packed full of stuff. So I might not have them on here. Let me see pictures. Let me see if it's here. No. Let me look. Guys, I don't think I have them on here. I am so sorry. But yes, Stephen Fisher likes to do disguises. It's crazy. I couldn't believe it when I saw it with my own eyes. I'll have them ready for you tomorrow. Y'all come back and tomorrow we'll go over some more stuff and I will for sure show those to you. I'll get them off of that zip drive. But yes, Stephen Fisher likes to dress up. Oh, I'm telling you, anybody at this point could be involved when it comes to Sebastian. You know, I don't know. I know there's lots of back and forth whether Green Hoodie was a woman or a man, or, so many people have different versions and ideas about it. And it's just a guess. It's a process that you can take this whole process and get it down to a very good match. And there's a possibility it could be that person. But, we can't say 100% for sure. I think SF is too tall to be Green Hoodie. I think his body frame is too wide, but I may be wrong. But I know this much. If law enforcement had reacted day one the way that they did with Mrs. Guthrie's case, they had done that in Sebastian's case, we might be a little closer to what exactly happened to Sebastian, because it took them 7 or 8 days. His house had been professionally cleaned, although Seth told us Katie kept an immaculate house. She didn't even want people to wear their shoes in her house. It was brought to my attention, talking to Rich with Rich and Ruby one day, and he made the comment, if they came in their garage door, wouldn't Sebastian's shoes had been right by the garage door? Because that would be beside Katie and Chris's bedroom, and right past their kitchen area would be the garage door. But Sebastian's shoes were all placed at the front door. But when they supposedly came home, they drove into the driveway. The door shut. They get out of the car and come into the house through that garage door, but yet his shoes were all the way over there by the front door. Doesn't sound like Katie's the kind of person that's going to let him wear his shoes all the way to the front door to take them off. Exactly, Texas Plain Jane. If she was such a neat freak, why would she need to have this spick and span house cleaned professionally? Bingo. But, you know, when you got the DA sitting there with you in your dining room, and yes, Daisy, are you talking about the Queen Bee and Betty's trial? Are you talking about that one? Daisy, is that what you're talking about? Or was it something different? Oh, Def Leppard in Vegas. Oh my gosh. How cool. That would be so fun. No, about the missing lady. Oh, okay. Is it Jay for Justice or Every Day with Jay? Is she live? I don't want to play her if she's live. Let me see what we can find out if there's some breaking news here. Let's see what we can find. I did hear where come on. Come on, come on. Let's see what we can see here. Okay, hang on. I'm going to share the screen and we're going to watch this as it's pulling up. There's a message on her phone. Authorities aware of new message regarding Nancy Guthrie. Investigators are actively investigating the information provided in the message for its authenticity. A social media post on Friday from the sheriff's department said, earlier this week, it's a new piece of information. They didn't say what the message was. ABC News source, a note was sent to a local media outlet and that it is being taken serious by law enforcement. Huh. Okay, well, let's see what else we can find. Do you have a timestamp, Daisy, by any chance? Okay. J for Justice. See what breaking news. Here we go. Hold on, let me share real quick here. J for Justice. Okay, this is from Brian Enton on X and some breaking news.
Down the road in front of Nancy's house where all the media was set up, they're all having to clear, and it looks like they're moving pretty quickly. So more to come on what they're doing here. They said it was for investigative purposes. So not sure what's going on here, but media is scrambling to get out of the way. And then we also had a report earlier. I wanted to update you guys that there was another message sent to a station in Arizona claiming to be from the abductors, and they are working to verify that as well. So a lot of movement. This is an ongoing fluid case, guys. And as I was recording this, we have another little tidbit that came in. Law enforcement officials in Arizona are searching for a vehicle or vehicles that may be connected to the Nancy Guthrie investigation. This is from NBC News. A Circle K spokesperson, we talked about that Circle K footage, told NBC that law enforcement visited one of their stores on Oracle Road in Tucson after receiving a tip regarding a vehicle of interest. And our team has provided them access to the store's surveillance. Officials have not said what vehicle is connected or could be part of this, or if that lead evaporated, but that did come from the Circle K spokesperson.
Okay. Well, thank you to J for Justice for breaking that for us. If y'all haven't subbed up, y'all definitely go sub up. Let me look here. Let's see here. Hold on. Trying to get to a good part here in this case. Get off the political stuff. Okay, listen here. This is NBC News.
At this difficult time, we are always willing to assist law enforcement as they investigate active cases as we are continuing to search for Nancy Guthrie. The spokesperson then went on to say any additional questions should be directed to the Pima County Sheriff's Office, which, by the way, at this hour, we are told they have blocked off the road near Nancy Guthrie's home as detectives have gone in to do some additional investigative work. Some media were asked to move out of the way so that they could do their work and not be impeded. So this just means that there are tips that are coming in. They said this from the very beginning. Tips are one of the most helpful things for them because they are going to evaluate every single one of them. And like you said, Tom, this does not mean that they have connected a vehicle or vehicles to this crime, but it just means that they are continuing the investigation, and it is very active even at this hour. Tom?
Let's go to, let's stand by, Dana. Let's go to NBC's Jim Kavanaugh, who, of course, is a crime expert, a veteran special agent from the ATF, and now working for NBC. Jim, this is what we've been talking about for several days, right? The idea that maybe law enforcement would maybe get a tip on a car, on a license plate, and then hopefully start to try to connect dots.
Right. We talked about it. We talked about it yesterday on the air. One thing they're doing, Tom, they're tracking the cell phones that were in the area, and especially the timeline was so critical. And they broke that down and released it yesterday with the 1:47 a.m. Where the doorbell camera was taken up to, I think, 2:28 a.m. when the Apple Watch stopped. So you got this 40-minute window. But the key to that, it's in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
It's 1:45 in the morning to 2:20. Well, I can tell you, I mean, an old uniformed patrol officer, there's nobody out. There's nobody out. It's just the cops, people going to work, a few people, some people coming home from a club or something, even in a residential area like that. Very few vehicles. So you sweep out, when you know that tight timeline, you sweep out 5 miles to start collecting the video from those stores like Circle K. And you start seeing who's moving, because there's very few people moving. And then you can zero in on a vehicle. So that's a good lead. Usually.
So if they are in fact looking at a vehicle or vehicles, and that may have been around the Circle K, then they'll start saying, okay, does that vehicle show up on this street or that street? And I guess that gives them their first foothold, if you will, on trying to go through all of their own camera videos, right? If the county has kind of street cameras, to start looking through there, as well as doorbell cameras, all of that.
Right. You start trying to walk it back. You might get a license plate reader, but sometimes you're not that lucky, and then you just get in a vehicle description. But if it's on a picture or photograph, that's better than an eyewitness description, because sometimes those can vary. So if you have the photograph, and we have done on these major cases, if we don't have a tag number right away and we got a certain car, certain make, model, SUV or something, we go right to the Division of Motor Vehicles, to state troopers who are in the command post, and say, all right, we want every one of these that's in Pima County, number one. And then we want all the 6 counties surrounding Pima County. We want every green, red, Toyota, whatever, Datsun, whatever it is, this kind of model, these years, give us every registration. And we'll start, putting that into our database. Does that match any of the cell numbers we found there? Does that match any people that have come out in the tip line, anything of interest? I mean, we've done whole states on bombings and killings. So, it's always a good lead. Hopefully, if they see it, they can get a license plate, reader might have picked something up. That's really, it gives you a start if you get a license tag, that's major stuff. But the other major thing you just reported on, and you're talking to Tom Winter, and is the ransom note. And that's the priority thing. If that ransom note can be authenticated as from the abductors, then that moves everything really closer to Nancy's release. So that's a very positive sign if it can be authenticated. So I was buoyed by that news this afternoon that a communication came in. Of course, I'm cautiously optimistic. I don't know if it's real or if it's a Memorex, but we're hoping it's real and they can start a dialogue.
Jim, none of us knows at this point what's legit and what's not legit. And we are, of course, very nervous and worried and praying for Nancy. And I'm just wondering, you've been behind the scenes on these types of all-out emergent type of searches for people? Is there a SWAT, rescue team standing by? Is there a medical evac team standing by just in case something breaks?
That's all laid on. That's all laid on. There's you have Pima County SWAT right there. You have FBI Phoenix Division SWAT, State Police SWAT, and you have it in all the surrounding states. Everybody's tuned in. They can move and do anything. They have air support. They have all those things. They're ready. But the critical issues that are happening right now, real time right now, is the Guthrie family is making decisions about what's in that ransom note, what it means, what can we do, how do we reply, and the abductors. They made a critical decision to, if it is, let's talk about if it's real. They made a critical decision to go for the money because apparently the first letters were for money. Now, are they going to be the same letters? That'll be interesting fact.
And lastly,
and I think it is. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Jim. When we looked at the timeline that we just had up here on the screen, and we've talked about this timeline ever since the sheriff's department laid it out yesterday. What does it say to you that it would appear that somebody may have been in or around that home for a good 40 minutes in the 2 a.m. hour? Can you glean anything from that?
Well, just from my whole lifetime, my college degree was criminology. My whole lifetime in the business, the way I read that was, the guys I know, the criminals I know, they would steal the doorbell and then drive around the block, go out in the car, leave, go around for a while, and not just go right in. That's the way I read that, especially because at 2:12, someone's picked up on the camera. So it's like, to me, it was like they took the doorbell off, and then, they got in the car and they drove around. Did the police come? Did anybody call the police? Did neighbors come? Is it still safe? Nothing happened. Well, heck, we had 30 minutes. Now you go back to see.
That's a very good point, because he said, at 1:47, you see the doorbell camera disconnects, but it's not until 2:12 a.m. that software detected a person on camera. I would imagine if she had a camera at her door, she probably had some around the side as well. Maybe on each corner of her house, maybe. So I'm wondering if that might not be the case, that they took the doorbell camera off, ripped it off, took off, drove around, kept an eye on her house, her driveway, to see if any law enforcement got alerted or anything. Had she had a subscription, that's exactly what would have happened. The people that are monitoring it would have sent something to the law enforcement to say, hey, this camera was taken off of her door. And after a while, no one shows up. And around 2:12, that person goes back. So it might not be that this person was in there that long. I mean, we're talking about what, 10 minutes at the most? They went in, they got her, and they drug her out of there. It's very possible that that's what we're looking at. And I never looked at it that way.
On the camera. Now, if you look at it that way, how tight that is, 2:12 to 2:28. I mean, they may have only been in there 10 minutes. Grab Nancy, assault her, punch her in the face or something, drag her out, and they're gone.
All right, Jim, thank you. I just want to underscore, Jim is talking hypothetics here based on his decades in law enforcement and solving big crimes. We do not have any inside knowledge as to what actually happened. Jim Cavanaugh, thank you very much for that. We're going to stay on top of the story, keep you posted as more information comes in. Again, if you have any information, there's the number to call, 1-800-FBI, 1-800-FBI, with any lead.
It is 1-800-CALL-FBI, CALL-FBI. All right. Well, there we go, guys. That kind of helps us a little bit. I'm glad we listened to that because that gave us a new insight into the gap in there. I would think at 212, when that person's detected, somehow they gained entrance, went in, she probably put up as much of a struggle as she possibly could. And with her not being able to walk very well, probably took them a good while to get her up and moving or whatever, and then got her out of the house and far enough away within that amount of time for her pacemaker to disconnect. So, wow. Okay. Oh, I keep punching everything. Sorry, guys. Well, guys, look, tomorrow we're going to stay on top of this. We'll talk about it again tomorrow. We'll talk about some more of Sebastian tomorrow. We'll have a cover both of them. So if y'all would come back and join me again tomorrow. I know, right, DJ? Leave the buttons alone. Stay away from the buttons. Yes, there is some sort of flower or greenery or something right there. Also, something I noticed while we're listening to that, you can see above that mat where that little lip of that concrete is there, that little part of the tile. You have to step up, but there's bars right there. They had to get through those bars to get to her front door. Remember, this is in like an alcove that we saw a while ago. But yeah, right there against that little lipped area where you got to step up a little bit, looks to be like something, some kind of plant. Very interesting, very sad case, I'm afraid. And we are going to stay on top of that. I want to cover this because very interesting that they went to the Circle K, got their camera footage, and now are looking for a vehicle, if not a couple of them. So prayers for her family, because man, what a horrible thing to be going through. I do appreciate everybody for being here. I know it just looked like we were sit and hang out and not do nothing because I didn't have a good thumbnail up, but I do appreciate y'all showing up and interacting and talking about this. Like I said, I want to stay on top of this case. I want to, follow it through, and hopefully we'll get some answers sooner rather than later. But I do appreciate you guys for showing up, hanging out, staying here with me. It means more than you could ever know. So y'all have a good night. Be safe out on these YouTube streets. It's a little cray-cray out there. Oh, and we did learn something today when Jay was doing a live earlier. She said that when Queen Bee was doing her grifting so that she could go to court and watch Betty when the Proudfoots had their case against her, she was trying to gather up money to travel. Christopher Proudfoot offered to buy her a plane ticket. He offered to get her a hotel room and money for food while she was there. Isn't that something? Tells you how nice and tight they are over there on that side. Thought that was very interesting. Don't buy nobody a plane ticket to go search. Don't worry about buying plane tickets and hotel rooms and food for people to come put out flyers and search for your missing son, but make sure you do that for people to sit in a courtroom while you file charges against a YouTube creator you don't like. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Good golly, y'all. Anyways, I was going to share that little tidbit with y'all. Yes, want to be sleuthing? Tell your son we all said happy birthday to him. Hope he has a super great day. And guys, we'll be back again tomorrow. So y'all be on the lookout. It's time for me to go play with some puppies and go get some little puppy snuggles. Y'all have a super good night. Right? That's what I wondered, Dan.